When I was doing my independent research in aquaculture about intensive tilapia farming, it really opened my mind to really explore and learn a lot of things. My ignorance is my best teacher. For 7 years of putting 100% of my time studying the industry about aquaculture, it covered also marketing, production, product development, and how to be off the grid in search of renewable energy, self-sufficient in quality feeds production in the future of the industry. My intellectual property that concerns about this industry, trade secrets that I learned, gathered, my documentation in videos, aside from my journals and personal notes, some model system we tried and worked beyond our expectation and passed Rocky Friend's strict and meticulous standard to be used in his production, we were able to formulate some new solutions so valuable in the future to be used once I finally decided to venture in aquaculture or share it to the right people who believe in us for the advancement of the industry. God bless. Rocky Friends is the founder and president of Aqua Farming Tech, founded 1993. Rocky Friends, to whom I collaborated in research and development while doing a feasibility study in aquaculture for my own company, which I did an intensive study and educating myself as an independent researcher from 2001 to 2007. Rocky Friends, a visionary in aquaculture in the 21st century, decades of dedicated innovation and research to whom we have envisioned that someday the fruit of our labor will be recognized, not for monetary gain but as a contributors in the advancement of the aquaculture industry. Like Rocky Friends, we were willing to go out of the box, ideas that are crazy, and we are motivated by passion and seeking the truth. Year-round production of red tilapia fingerlings for local growers monthly, an average of 10 grams, the desert Fisherman hatchery, the only local company whose objective is production of quality fingerlings and continually do research and development for the benefits of the industry. We had the technology, knowledge, expertise, and competent people to produce year-round of quality fingerlings. The company's vision is to be a team player to achieve the ultimate goal of creating a feasible operating system for industrialized tilapia farming, which will be the world standard. Tilapia, the fish that can feed the world. The first feeding miracle of Jesus Christ is the miracle of the 5 loaves of bread and the 2 fish. The live tilapia market. Only local supplier, no outside of states or foreign competitors, short of supply to meet the demand of the market. The demand is weekly, year-round, not seasonal. The average weight is 1 pound. 1 tilapia, 1 person. Tilapia growers are concentrated here in Coachella Valley because of geothermal source of water. They can grow tilapia year-round, and for the past decade, they are supplying weekly the local market. However, the local growers do seasonal spawning ever since tilapia farming was introduced here in California. The spawning season starts in February or early spring and ends in August. Most of the tilapia growers followed the pioneers. There is a massive production of fingerlings during spawning season and stand some to be your surplus for the rest of the year. The grow-out tanks of the farmers are in full operation year-round. For a small farm, this cannot be that much to fill the loss of the profit. For tilapia farmers who expanded their operations are the ones suffering because of the high cost maintaining their operations year-round, high cost of feeds, electric bills, plus price of live tilapia is not stable for the past decade. All the growers are concentrating in their grow-out tanks and ready to spend money in getting the latest technology and equipments. Once you do seasonal spawning, there should be months where you should not have any sales at all. This is my recommendation. Monthly is the best approach to this kind of demand of the market. That is the monthly spawning. The outlet can only stock live tilapia good only for few days. Aquarium is where they stock their produce. Monthly spawning was never been done by the local growers because it requires a good technical know-how and skill. Monthly spawning needed a specialized controlled spawning ponds and hatchery. Synchronous tilapia spawning also needs a special knowledge and skill. That is why I formed the company, the Desert Fisherman Hatchery, the only local company to do the year-round spawning of quality tilapia fingerlings. All my projects are all on hold due to what the corporate pastors have done to us. But God will show us the way, the truth, the life. God is an overseeing God and God of order and justice. Have patience and don't lose hope. Faith in Him, Jesus, will be your strength in facing any trials and tribulations. Amen to that. Our experiences are what makes us who we are, can never be undone. I became a vessel to expose the cancer in the upper leadership of a Christian church and to seek justice for those who experience such abuse from MPD pastor that corporate churches ignored. The scar was so deep that only the victim can feel it. As Dr. Sam Bachman described, a narcissist reacts with a supreme rage to the slightest mistake. He will punish severely to what he perceives an offense against him, no matter how minor, and all of these abuses. The narcissistic rage is the response of a narcissist to anything they perceive as a threat to their ego. Their control of power is sometimes this is deadly, where all premeditated and the victims are kept in the dark. They are kept off balance. Needless to say that the dependents of the source of justice are manipulated for their advancement to secure the victim, the one at fault. What makes the MPD pastor so evil is that truly do not have empathy and no compassion. The narcissists don't treat the victim as a full-fledged human beings. He dehumanizes them, he objectifies them. By dehumanizing and objectifying people, it attacks the very foundation of human interaction or dignity of a human being. Abuse was so horrid, so repulsive, so phantasmagoric that people recoil in terror. They are horrified that when their defense are absolutely down, it is then they are susceptible and vulnerable to suffer to the maximum the abuses or narcissistic rage. The abuser control is at the maximum when the victim's psychological state is at its lowest. Many in charge would like to attribute the decline in attendance at Christian churches to the hedonism and frantic phase of the wider culture, but the truth may include the fact that in many congregations and denominations, the church is dying from within, from the preponderance of NPD leadership, and those impotent in responding to this evil. For all the progress that has been made in the church, in stepping up, aggressive awareness, education, decisive response in protecting children from the church top predators. But there has been no visible address to the comparably destructive evil of MPD leadership. The conventional wisdom on managing individuals with MPD is usually directed at victims who have become entangled with one in the course of their life, employment, or spiritual life. The wisdom is valid and good for those in such situation to get away and stay away from the narcissist and then completely ignore them. What should you do when you meet a narcissist? Run? I think run is a good solution most of the time. But what about the times where you cannot run? What if the problem is your co-worker, a friend, or even your pastor? What do you do then? Okay, you have to fight back with stronger ego. Educate yourself. Deeper knowledge is the way. Narcissists are shallow and go to the topic or something that they know nothing. This is an option can ultimately be an ego defense of your own. By running only shows you cannot handle the conflict. Fighting back is about protecting other people and things you care about, not your ego. Fighting to protect your ego is not going to help. Given that you can't help someone who needs help, I think the most important response is how does that sobering fact motivate you to act, given the limits of one's own capacity. Okay? Personality disorder have not been shown to be due to lack of particular chemical or organic process, but are largely under the direct control of the person who cooperates with it. Essentially, a person with narcissistic personality disorder is not mentally ill in classic sense because they are deciding to behave the way they do and in full control over it. This is why traditionally some mental health disorder will mitigate criminal actions, not guilty reason of insanity plea. But personality disorder are no defense, and make no mistake that the vast majority of interpersonal behaviors that NPD pastors are evil. Another person or individual for the NPD pastor are but objects or toys, an obstacle to everyone. What makes the NPD pastor so evil is that truly do not have empathy and no compassion. Ordination is an ideal place for NPD individual, especially those pastors that are licensed by this mega corporate church. They treat it as a job, not a calling. Okay? So this NPD individual that been licensed, okay, as they then have built-in adulation. Everyone respect a pastor, right? Okay, that is a perfect cloaking device. The job, the church, the congregation is perfect for NPD individual. A narcissistic place, that is the church property, and the pathological narcissistic supply. Now it's my duty to reclaim back our reputation and dignity, whatever is taken from us by this manipulative band of deceivers. We are independent church, and our founding pastor was Dr. Reverend Nene Ramientos. After a few months of pastorate at Eagle Rock, I formed a new congregation named Faith Bible Church of Los Angeles. It was 1985. At first, we met in homes, As our membership grew, we met in rented church halls. Our membership grew steadily as more people joined us, mostly as a result of our home Bible study groups. Later, my son, Pastor Joseph, took over the pastorate. A permanent building was established in Sambali, Los Angeles area, and that is the 12055 Wicks Street, Sambali, California. And that property is a 4 acres property originally is owned by a Baptist church. That is the reason to 2013 Dr. Ruel Tica became our guest because he thought that it's still a Baptist church. But we opened our door and let him share his testimonial, like our founding pastor, Dr. Rene Ramientos. Man, once you read his book about his life, his testimonial about how he became really a disciple, an ambassador, a minister of Jesus Christ in further the gospel and sharing it to the whole world. Okay? The property was paid off, and we just entrusted the title of the property. And now, the International Church of the Foursquare Gospel Incorporated, claiming they are the original and real owner, as stated to the summons served to me June 16, 2015. Okay? When a victim of narcissist abuse turns to the people for help, their claims are never fully understood, and most people fail to appreciate just how serious are the topics, such as financial abuse, really are, and just how much damage they cause. Having your money stripped away from you and having someone have control over your finances and what you are allowed to buy is not only degrading, but it also causes many further problems for the victim. The Foursquare Church dissolved our church, the Faith Bible Church of Los Angeles, California, aka Sambali Foursquare Church. And the new pastor church name is officially the only existing church to the property, especially when he put in their website and he announced their 4th church anniversary, and that is March 24, 2015. My golly, now we now know that when they came, they already have a plan to steal our property. Oh my God. And because I am the property custodian, I am the first one that they really harass. My God, now the picture is now becoming clearer and clearer. I believe these are the worst type of manipulators. I say they are the worst because they will do anything in their power to get everyone to believe they were wrong. They never take any responsibility for any problems they may be involved in, and always look to blame someone else. They don't respect others but demand respect for themselves. When you point out their inconsistencies, they accuse you of being like everyone else. If they have ever felt unhappy with someone, they call and speak to everyone about it and do their best to smear campaign while the victim is kept in the dark. In my case, I was confined and isolated. And then in that small room that they called the unit number 1. Okay? And then what we're going to do right now is this one. A contingency is an if-then situation. If someone does a particular thing, then a certain consequences will follow. And the only way they learn anything is by experiencing the consequences of their actions and behavior by teaching them the game how the game of life is played. Okay? Since the district legal representative and also the district administrator and also the one that is taking care of the insurance of the 4 square and now is the assistant supervisor, okay, keep on asking, do I have evidence? Any evidence? So I said, I will research and provide him what is ever needed. So this is the reason why it took us years, because they kept on ignoring every documents I submitted and personally even gave it to Jeff Nelson, the appointed pastor from the corporate. And I even used the social media, but to no avail. I was even erased from the Facebook. My first account, Efren Maulino Tadyaman, okay, who was erased. Because when I addressed already it to the president and then tried to connect to the Facebook account of the 4 square, I don't know what happened. And what happened is that they removed my account, the Efren Maulino Tedioman, but I said it's okay. Because the one that have a problem right now in Google is Efren Tedioman, the one that have this eviction case against him. So now, when I mentioned to the district administrator, by not immediately correcting the problem, I was subjected to, due to that I have to endure narcissistic grades. So he even asked, do I have a medical proofs and certificate? So I said, I'm going to research it. Ambient abuse is the propagation of an atmosphere of fear, intimidation, instability, unpredictability, and irritation. There is no traceable or explicit abuse. There is no wound or marks of the body, something that can be used as an evidence in the court of law. There is no manipulated control. There is nothing there, yet the air of the feelings remains and the bad omen. An ill atmosphere in the long term, such sick environment erode the victim self-worth of self-esteem. Self-confidence is shaken so badly that renders himself even more to the criticism and judgment by the society or congregation. Thus reverse, the victim is considered mentally deranged and the abuser, the suffering victim. Okay? This is what my Blano, Silito Cometa, have posted when he answered, he made a comment. And this is what he had written. My most painful wounds came from and inflicted by men from the church. If it happens to you, blessed are you, for Christ is teaching you through humility, for nothing could offend you more than those we are supposed to and commanded to love. Then this is my reply. Brother Blano Silito Cometa, like Jesus, when suffering at the cross and being mocked by the Jews said, Father, why have you forsaken me? How painful the people you are saving are the one humiliating you. After serving the church for 7 years while helping them because the church is dying within, okay, these sociopaths, okay, when they took over the property, they isolated me in the small room for almost a year in the fellowship hall. Only 1 or 2 checked if I was still alive. Some gave food in secret, and that is Don Jose, and they were even stopped not to feed me. Okay, they even what? The food that was kept by Don Jose in the refrigerator, meant they even trust it. What a Christian character. Okay. And those sociopaths tried to break me physically and emotionally. But my faith is so strong. Now, these sociopaths are accountable to their action. I was so busy preparing all the documents for the labor case, and I was not eating properly, and I got no money when they isolated me. So I was left all alone, and I lost a lot of weight, and I look so haggard, and this is the wrongdoing of this sociopath And they got even scared because they think I might lose my mind and do something stupid. See how stupid these sociopaths are? By isolating me for almost a year, trying to break me down. They got me even scared when they saw me. I lose a lot of weight and my hair is so long. Anyway, that's the way it is, man. So now, and then how stupid the sociopaths, after isolating me in the video room, they realize I got an access to the most important tools I need in preparing a case against them. And that's my computer with an internet access. Again, they fabricated a case and partly humiliated me in the court of law. But God is good, it backfired, and the judge threw the case. However, those sociopaths even announced at the pulpit they won the case. What a character. And they even branded me that I have a Satan's spirit. Now we will see who have that Satan's spirit, me or them. Personal journal, and writing everything regarding my research in aquaculture and renewable energy. And took me years to do it, and I almost lost it when they towed my Nissan Sentra. The second security even accepted it that my old car, they towed it. Food and energy, the most important commodities in the future. We should do some actions in research and development and innovation for the future of our children's children. From 2001 to 2007, I did my independent research and development and innovation in aquaculture from 2003 to 2007. I transferred to Aqua Farming Tech Incorporated to test my broodstock red and golden orange tilapia with the approval of Rocky Friends to test it. In this farm, he is also the founder and CEO. When I was in Aqua Farming Tech, I collaborated with Rocky Friends in research and development and innovation in intensive culture system in aquaculture. Most of it are out-of-the-box ideas, and the experimentation we have done was recorded in videos and in my personal journals. Rocky Friends and me, Efren Tejoman, had done some innovations never been tried in aquaculture. Rocky and me is the same age. We are born in 1957. We are the baby boomer. Aqua Farming Tech is the definitive leader in the industry. State-of-the-art aquaculture operations are conducted from the two farms encompassing 120 acres. Always an industry innovator. Aqua Farming Tech is the first farm with more than 60 tanks. One of the first farms to build above the ground cement tanks, and the first farm to utilize a mechanical aerator to improve the oxygenation of the water, the first farm to develop and implement method of recycling water, and the first farm to generate significant percentage of its power from solar, and the first farm to self-manufacture its own feed, and the only farm endorsed and accredited by the state of California to do and accept training and education of people about intensive culture system in aquaculture.
In a world with increasingly limited land for growing food, we invest in agricultural enterprises that produce the highest possible yield per acre. We also leverage that strength by using the most efficient energy resources on the planet. It's no secret that some of the smartest investors in the world are betting on the development of highly efficient methods of growing food in smaller spaces. People like George Soros, Warren Buffett, and Bill Gates have seen the numbers and added farmland to their portfolios. Here's what they know. The world's population is projected to be 40% higher by 2050 than it is today. That's not far down the road, and yet our farmland is shrinking every year. An estimated worldwide equivalent of 40% of California's agricultural land is lost every 18 months. which will result in a dramatic increase in the cost of food. But there's hope and opportunity. There are methods of farming that can address these frightening numbers and help feed a hungry planet while generating profits for forward-thinking investors. In short, a chance to do well by doing good. In this respect, New Global Energy Business Unit, Aqua Farming Tech, has been at the forefront of developing and implementing the most advanced sustainable methods of producing premium seafood since 1993. Its operations are located just east of Palm Springs in the heart of the Coachella Valley in California. When Aqua Farming Tech started, global aquaculture accounted for less than 10% of seafood consumption. Now it's about 40%. The United States imports about 86% of its seafood, only half of which is wild caught. In fact, what looks like a brilliant idea now had its critics 20 years ago, as our aqua farming manager, industry legend Rocky French explains.
When we started, everybody was thinking that we were crazy because we're trying to build fish farm in the desert. It turned out this is the very best place to start fish farming.
But as ideal as the Coachella Valley is for growing tilapia, this type of farming also has its pitfalls. In California and elsewhere, other fish farms have shut down as a result of 3 persistent issues. We're fortunate that Rocky and the rest of our technical team have met these challenges.
High density type of fish farming, you're faced with like 3 major problems. Electricity, feed, and water. In our case, we're able to mitigate our problem by putting a solar array. We save about, we save about 80 to 90% of our electric bill already. The second issue was water use. And of course, in the farm, we're doing recirculation. We pump the water, it goes into our reservoir, gets cleaned up by the water vegetation. One of the major costs of fish production is feed. We figured that if we could build our own feed mill, design our own feed, and have better control on what type of ingredients that we could put in the feed, this would be a major contribution to the production of good quality, sustainable type of fish.
In addition to producing our own feed, Aqua Farming Tech has developed a proprietary fish feeding methodology that is projected to save up to 70% of the overall feed cost. The program involves feeding our fish green algae for the first 4 months in the grow-out ponds. In their natural environment, tilapia, which are vegetarian, feed on nutrient-rich algae and other aquatic plants. This sustainable technique dramatically lowers the feed cost, and the oxygen-producing action of the algae reduces electricity costs by diminishing the need to run mechanical paddle wheels to aerate the water during the day when the electricity rates are at their highest. By successfully solving critical cost issues that confront fish farming in this area, we lead the industry in tilapia farming, and we are in a position to acquire or lease other California fish farms as they have closed. Because Aqua Farming Tech has perfected high-density aqua farming, our yields are much higher per acre than traditional fish farming. Most farms yield about
Perry West, CEO of New Global Energy, on the show with us today. Perry, welcome to the show.
Hi, how you doing, Michael?
I'm doing great. All right, Perry, I was looking at your company. When it comes to food, you guys have got it covered. I can't wait to get into the moringa, but first, let me back up a little bit, and please give us the depth and the background of the management style that you bring to the table.
My background is primarily technology development in small public companies over the last 30 years, essentially, and we've brought that and those ideas to New Global Energy, which is basically a renewable and sustainable agriculture and aquaculture company driven by technology, and so that's been our focus, and we're trying to drive the company to focus on the acquisition of and operation of high growth assets in this industry.
Well, you certainly have the portfolio taken care of. But let's get into you for a second here, because you're an attorney, you're a practicing attorney, and you have had some milestones, some success in your history. Bring some of that out before we get into New Global Energy. Their bio, what they're into, and we've got plenty of time to walk through the different parts of the portfolio that you bring up.
Well, I've had some experience in a number of areas, technology related and natural resource related. I was CEO of Cambridge Energy, which was a small public E&P company that with oil and gas production in Louisiana and Texas and internationally in Indonesia. I've been the CEO of Interactive Technologies, which was an interactive digital media company. That was a NASDAQ company that was listed on NASDAQ. Early on, a business partner and I started an American Financial Network, which became the largest computerized loan origination network in the country, and one of the first. Even in the days before public access to the internet, we operated our own network, and it became a significantly large company. I think we did well over $2 billion in business. We went from an idea to listing on NASDAQ early on, and I more recently been involved with the development of concentrated solar power technology through a company called Nanogen, which concentrated in developing a solar system not related or not using PV panels, but using concentrated solar in the small to medium size marketplace. And I've brought some of that to New Global, which we expect to apply as we go along in the different acquisition of different properties. But those are some of the areas of background that may be of some interest and certainly relate to what we're doing here.
Well, I can tell that you're a very modest person, but those are definitely some real strong attributes that you bring to the table: is continued success and being ahead of the curve. I wanted to bring that out for just a moment, but what led you to get into, because those are different fields, maybe the oil and gas is a natural resource, but now you're talking about farmland, aquaculture, shrimp, and then also this moringa plant or tree. I guess it's actually a tree. Let's get into that, because you're in an industry sector, as far as I'm concerned, because I'm a natural resource person from way back, and you're getting into an industry sector that there is always a demand for, and it seems to me you're a little ahead of the curve on this. Let's bring New Global Energy's bio out, a little bit about what the company does, and then if we can, we'll walk through and drill down into some of the different parts of your portfolio here.
Well, as I indicated, we're basically an aquaculture and agriculture company,
right.
Focused on areas that we believe are sustainable and renewable, an attribute which is really an essential to the future marketplace. I think if you look at the farmland as an asset base, for instance. I'm not sure how you could hit all the bases better for an investment or a desired asset than farmland. First of all, you have growing demand. The population is expected to grow 40% by the year 2050. Significant growth in demand. You have decreasing availability of farmland. Every year, worldwide, we lose an amount of farmland equal to about 40% of all the farmland in California. Every year we lose that. And those two things related add to ever-increasing value, and the record shows it. I mean, every year since World War II, the U.S. has had, except for 4 years, has had a steady increase in the value of farmland. And focusing on that, it's just not doesn't make sense not to become involved and lay out a business plan which focuses on farmland as part of your asset base.
Let me drill down into the farmland for a minute before we switch over to agriculture. On the farmland, are there any specific crops or types of farming that you think are going to be more valuable in the future than most people would know right now?
Well, obviously by the areas that we focused in, we believe that agriculture, which we'll talk about in a second, is an area, and some of the things we'll talk about, you'll see why it actually becomes obvious why that's a focus. We're trying to focus on crops that are make the most efficient use of farmland and crops which we can make a difference in applying technology where we can reduce costs through the application of things like solar energy and feeding technology and those types of things.
So in essence, what you're doing is you're through your farming, you're lowering the energy costs, you're protecting the environment, you're creating.
One of the most important resource of any congregation or a church, first are the members, and then secondly is their property, the property of the congregation. And the property of the Faith Bible congregation here in Sun Valley that they paid off, okay, is a 4 acres property. And the back is a 2 acres vacant lot. That is where we started to plant moringa year 2012 as part of our financial income that we can get, because and then do some research and study also about moringa, what it can do in science and in medicine. And mind you, when they came, the corporation, they uprooted everything, man. Even the moringa we planted. So we lost a lot of money already. Now it's the year 2020. And now here is the evidence. Okay? That moringa, man, is money. Okay. Because I planted moringa 2003 in the 2 acres in Mecca. That is the part of the aqua farming tech. And now, now you see how much money can moringa, the income. Now this is now the evidence. And then this is the charts, how it looks when they took over 2015. And then I don't know now what is the condition of the charts after 5 years. And this is a good, as a researcher, this is a good comparison. Because when you do research, it will take you about 2 to 5 years. And now let us see. When the corporation took over, comparing it when we are the one running it, our property. It took us almost 7 years to renovate, repaint, put it to code, the existing structure. And then when they came, they just took it like that. What a character. What kind of people are these? While we're doing our work there in the Sinda, we're doing some work over here because Pastor Noni told me, okay, let's let Pastor Hector to build up the church. Because actually the condition of the church is not like this before. Since you don't have any values in you, can you just look at the church? You see, like maybe I can call myself the first custodian of this church under Pastor Hector.
So when the devil starts to attack us and discourage us, we love you, Lord. Your name is miraculous, Jesus. Your name is supernatural, Jesus. Jesus.
nowadays we have staff, we have videographers, we have photographers, we have sound people, we have volunteers, we are a different organization.
Okay, Hector, because he did not pay the tithes to the district, so he was forced to resign. So February 15, 2015, he announced to the pulpit that he is going to resign his position as a senior pastor, and he will be with the supervisor or be spiritually educated. And then March 15, 2015, now here comes now Chong Torres, become now the ad interim pastor. Okay? And then Jeff Nelson, okay, when he announced in their website their 4th year anniversary 2019, okay, he said in their website it's March 24, 2015. That is the start of the Hope Fellowship, a 4 square church that's now occupying that property that belongs to us. So he is a squatter. And this is the Airstream Land Yacht where I am. This is my living space since 2008 up to when they forced it to be removed because they say it is abandoned. So we sold it. Because of that stupidity again of Chong Torres, he is harassing Noni Abo. Okay? So now everything is becoming clear. And these are the moringas that we planted at the back. So at least, without these videos and pictures, man, we are done. How can we? It's good. I'm the videographer. God is good. And this video was taken when 2014, when Barry Press is reporting the progress report on the financial status of the Faith Bible congregation to the congregation. So now, so we lost a lot of money.
That's when we have movie studios, TV,
And it's an evidence also that there are 10 churches that is using our property as their sanctuary in worshiping that one God that we believe in. 10 churches that is willing to be part of the organization. That these corporate people, when they came, they kicked us all, including these 10 churches. Now, they don't have anything. Come on, man. Now, God is good and God of justice.
actually, there's one name on there that is being changed. Iglesia NL Camino is actually now, I take that back. The actual name is Real something, which is the Pastor Edwards. You notice Pastor Edwards' name's on there twice. Because he had to change names. You can see we're getting a good amount of income. And most of the repairs that are being provided at the church are being done through the rental income. And I would say we're fortunate with most of them are paying and helping us. Somebody want to move? And you can see our tithes. And of course that special offering for the our intentions are not to make an income, but to put the money back into the church. If anybody has really, I really wanted to really say, I was hoping more of the council members were able to address some of the challenges.